Good morning, good afternoon, guys. These are your videos for 3.4 that you need to fill out today. Remember, I'm not going to be there today, but if you have questions, Coach should be there. He can help you out, or you can ask me tomorrow when we get back. Please make sure you're following along and filling out your notes. I am going to check the notebook later on this week, and I don't want to see what happened last week, which is a lot of people missing their notes. Okay, we'll see you all tomorrow. Good luck today.
During this segment, we'll talk about slope, and we'll also discuss slope as a rate of change. You may have noticed by now that different lines tilt differently. We measure the tilt of a line by a number, and we call this number its slope. How do we measure slope? We measure slope as a ratio
Oops,
of
sorry, guys.
vertical change to horizontal change in moving from one point to another point on the line. So let's look at a diagram. Here we have a diagram. We have a point labeled x sub 1, y sub 1, and a point labeled x sub 2, y sub 2. Now the vertical change, or also the rise, can be found by the difference of the y values, y sub 2 minus y sub 1. The horizontal change, sometimes called the run, can be found by the difference in the x values, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that's how we find the slope of the line containing the points x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2 is, now we use m to denote slope. It is equal to rise over run, which equals change in y over change in x. And we find that by y sub 2 minus y sub 1, the change in y over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. This is, of course, as long as x sub 2 is not equal to x sub 1. So let's use that slope formula, and let's find the slope of the line through these 2 points. To do so, first let's find the coordinates of the points. This point has coordinates -1, 3. So -1, 3. And then this point has coordinates -3, -2. So -3, -2, excuse me. And now we'll use the slope formula. And to use the slope formula, remember, it's difference of the y values over difference of the x values. And we use the letter m to denote slope. So difference of the y values. Now, it makes no difference which y value you start with in the numerator, but whatever y value you start with in the numerator, you must start with the corresponding x value in the denominator. So slope is, I'll just start with this y value, y minus y3 over, now I started with this y value, so I've got to start with this x value in the denominator. Be very careful. X minus from the formula, and then this x value is -1, so minus a -1. And now let's simplify. -2 minus 3, that's -5 over -3 minus a -1.
Oops.
That's -3 plus 1, and -3 plus 1 is -2, and then a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I have +5 over 2. So the slope is 5/2, and I want you to notice something. We have a positive slope, and as you follow this line from left to right, very important, as you follow it from left to right, notice the line is increasing. That will always happen with a positive slope. Let's now find another slope. Let's continue finding slope. I want to find the slope of the line through these 2 points. So we use the slope formula. Remember, y minus y over x minus x. I'll choose this y first. -2 minus 5 over, now I must place this x value first, minus, and then -1. So negative 2 minus 5, that is negative 7, over 6 minus a negative 1, that's 6 plus 1, or 7, and that simplifies to negative 1. So the slope is negative 1. Let's look at a diagram. We just found the slope of the line connecting these 2 points to be negative 1. I want you to realize something. As I move along the line from left to right, notice I'm moving downward, and that downward movement does have to do with a negative slope. Let's now find the slope of the line through these 2 points. We'll use that same slope formula. Slope is equal to y minus y over x, negative 4, be careful, minus this x value, negative 4. Let's see what we have. 5 minus 3 is 2, and negative 4 minus a negative 4 is negative 4 plus 4, and that is 0. So we call this, remember, undefined. We cannot divide by 0. So we say the slope here is undefined. Let's look at a diagram to see what kind of line goes through these 2 points. Here is a look at the line through this point, negative 4, 5, and negative 4, 3. We just found the slope of this line. We found it to be undefined. So a vertical line in general has undefined slope. Let's find one more slope. Let's find the slope of the line through these 2 points. Remember how to find slope. Y minus y over x, negative 2, minus x of 5. Let's see what we have. 1 minus 1 is 0 over negative 2 minus 5, that's negative 7, but 0 in the numerator is okay as long as it's not 0 in the denominator. 0 over negative 7 is 0. This slope is 0. Let's see what the line through these 2 points looks like. Here is the line through negative 2, 1 and 5, 1. Notice it is a horizontal line. We just found the slope of this line to be 0, so the slope of horizontal lines is 0. Thus far, we know the slope of a line measures it.
Okay, that's the first video. I'm going to upload the second ones here in a little bit.